You know that people die here. You had acquaintances who, as I understand it, were acquaintances.
Yes, I went. Nobody forced me. I went of my own will.
Yes. What did you do for a living?
Lastly, I worked as a driver.
How much was your salary?
Well, I drove around Europe. Well, how much was there? From 1,200 euros.
Long distance driving?
Yes. Yes.
Why didn't you work at your place?
In Russia?
Yes.
Not interesting. Well, it's not interesting to watch countries don't change, people don't change, everything is the same.
Where it's better, in your city or in Berlin?
Well, it depends. Well, if, for example, you compare it with something like infrastructure, then it's better in Europe.
And what is worse in Europe?
There are pros and cons.
Go ahead, name the pros and name the cons. How long have you been in Europe? How many countries have you seen?
Poland, Germany, Belgium, Holland, France, Czech Republic, Luxembourg.
Well, insured along the Autobahn, along the highway.
No, I lived in Germany, I lived in Poland, I lived in Germany. Well, I've seen it, there are pros and cons.
Name the pros and cons. Let's take your hometown.
The roads. Fantastic, you can target. In Russia, well, only in the south are there such roads.
Well, what's next? Roads?
Well, talking about Europe, it is really possible to work and earn money.
Yeah.
At any job.
Yeah.
In Russia, well, there is no such thing.
Yes.
In Europe, LGBT propaganda in Europe, in Russia, there is no such LGBT propaganda in the sense that it does not happen on a
What is
mass
propaganda?
scale.
No matter how long I've been to Europe, in short, I haven't seen any billboard there, and you 100% haven't seen them either.
It's not about billboards.
And in what?
The problem is that this is being imposed on people.
How does this manifest itself? Imposing.
Well, sort of from school age, that is, it allowed them to choose who they want to be.
This is bad?
As for...
No, wait, you phrased it exactly the way you say. They are allowed.
This is not bad, but in terms of intersexual relations between a man and a woman, I think it's not normal.
Well, that's your subjective opinion. I also think so. This is not normal, but I don't give a shit about this topic. Well, okay, LGBT, like, supposedly there is freedom of choice. If you want to be with a boy, then you will be with a boy. So you don't have anything like that?
It is there, but it is...
Have you been to Moscow?
Of course, I live
Did
there.
you go to these clubs?
Never.
Why?
Well, I have nothing
Are
to
you
do with
aware
it.
that your ROC has the highest number?
Prisoner?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes. I have video of him. I can't publish it. He didn't allow me to publish it. You haven't seen him. He was captured last year. He was a prisoner here and told me that that's it, I'm quitting. I'm going in short. Upon returning from the exchange, I'll go to church. There were 5 of them there. 4 of them still cannot leave the army. There are second-time prisoners who were captured the second time. You won't get home well, so that you understand in your soul. You're not going home, dude. But we'll talk about it. And there is a prisoner in short who was given away. He honestly went and put on a cassock and went to a monastery, and he sent me a video, and I have this video. In short, your Russian church rape boys. This is a mandatory condition.
I didn't.
Yes. It's just that the truth isn't always good, so it's better not to get involved in this truth. Well, go ahead. LGBT, okay, minus. Like freedom of choice. Well, what other advantages and disadvantages do you have?
Service, banking system, internet. Well, that is, the services are better in
Are
Russia.
services better in Russia?
Yes.
Where?
Well, it's, well, like in the big cities, like in
We take your city.
regional centers.
We take your city. How again?
Well, in my city, well, there aren't any such services. Well, in terms of if you
Orlo.
take...
Vka?
Yes, I already say that there isn't anything like that there, but the service is better in regional centers.
Is this it?
No.
How it is spelled correctly?
Can I write?
Yes, right. It's like... So... Maps. Google Maps. Orlov. Roads not good in short. This is it, right?
Yes.
You know, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
In short, there are no roads, no lighting poles. Interesting if Google drove around there to take pictures. Even Google didn't go there. I would say just some kind of village, right?
Well, no.
What is the population?
How much? 6,000, I
Well,
think.
in short, everything is said because of what I understand and see. In a large cities like in St. Petersburg, in Moscow.
Not necessarily so in regional
Well, what's
centers.
better there?
The internet is better, the banking system works better. Well, in terms of being able to do everything via phone.
Can't you do it in a love via phone?
In Russia, you could do everything via phone.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's more difficult. There you have to buy cards to pay for mobile communications.
What cards?
Well, in Poland, for example, to top up your mobile phone, you have to buy a
When
card
was
and
the
then
last time
charge
you
it.
were in Poland?
What year?
Are you kidding me? They have a model all Europe on its way to us. Further you have everything than we have everything. Well, for us and for you. I have a Polish SIM card. To refill it, you just need to top up your account from your bank card.
Well, I don't know. It means we're talking about some different things.
This is the first time I've heard of it. Yes, the internet is more expensive there. Yes, it's slower, so what? It's enough to watch TV. Mobile internet is better there, in Europe. There. We also have a good one, 50 megabits. There is for LTE.
Well, Russia also has good mobile internet. It's just not available everywhere.
Just imagine.
But if
No
you take,
matter who I call.
but if you take the 5G system, it works very fast and also catch it almost everywhere.
I'm like, well, do you believe my experience? When I call relatives or prisoners, well, people like you, they say the same phrase. My internet is bad. This is just stupidly common among everyone.
This may be because they live really far from regional centers and from the places where the towers are located.
And who is the largest supplier of gas and oil in the world?
Gazprom. Rosneft, Gazprom.
Do you have gas at home?
Yes.
Marvelous. Well, the most part of all your populated areas are not gasified.
Well, in Poland, for example, everyone has Russian gas.
Well, not Russian.
Was.
Well, what next?
Well, that's
And how
very
much did you
interesting.
get from this? I wonder how many coins did you get from these gas pipes? That you left your job and went to earn money.
Nothing at all.
Why so?
Well, something like that.
You're not one of the retinue of kings, are you?
100%.
Yes, and that's why you abandoned the great mother superpower and went to work as long-range driver in that damned Europe.
But it's not damned. There are some really interesting things there.
Which? I
And look,
still want to hear the cons.
Well, the only downside is that there are high taxes. There it is, and as far as Germany is involved, in Germany there are really
yes,
high
but
taxes.
the salaries there are different.
But the salaries there are different too. What else concerns? Well, the fact that LGBT values are more of question.
Did they come up to you by the hand, grab you and tell you to be gay?
No, that didn't happen.
Just imagine. Well, I don't understand what it is. What they show you on TV. Skabeva talks about how in Europe, in children's textbooks, there are pictures where a boy is like with a boy? Is that what you mean?
No, that's not what I mean.
Well, you haven't been to Europe schools, have you?
Well, I have someone who has been living there for a very long time.
And what do they say?
Well, this is the same thing that I'm
Are they
telling
Russian?
you. Russian,
Why do they
yes.
live there?
Russian, Germans.
Why do they live there?
There are those who lived in Finland.
Answer me this question. Why do they live there and can return to their slaves here so as not to encounter these LGBT people?
They can come back.
Why don't they come back?
Well, they don't want to because the standard of living there is higher.
Oh, just imagine. You have the largest, richest country essentially in terms of gas and oil.
Well, that's right, that's how it is.
And now I want to show you one more picture. Dubai and Russia. Ma'am. What?
Yes, I understand.
Dubai 1991, Russia 1991. Dubai 2012.
I see.
Agree?
Agree.
Have you driven around Poland? What are their highways like?
Warsaw.
Warsaw. You probably only have 2 highways like that.
Well, how Warsaw? Russia has good roads, and as far as federal highways are concerned, they are not bad. They are in no way inferior.
I just look at the roads in your locality. I'm sure that they are the same as they were 20 years ago. They are the same now, only worse. Okay, so we went somewhere very far away. So let's return to our Crimea. Model with the fact that you will put your signature, you agree with me that you will
If my
put
loved
it.
ones and relatives are at the
Yes.
gunpoint and under threat,
Yes.
I will.
This is how all the deputies of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea signed it, about holding a referendum. Likewise, the referendum was held without any international organizations. Nobody knew how it was calculated, how it was carried out. It was impossible to prepare and conduct in such a short time frame, so the whole world did not recognize it. Our military was disarmed and blocked. At the same time, there were some processes in Donetsk and Lugansk, and your king wanted to cut the road to Transnistria, like Kharkiv, Kharkiv People's Republic, Donetsk People's Republic, Lugansk, Odessa. Well, you get it, right?
I get it.
But he didn't succeed. And this story began with the DPR and LPR. And in the 22nd year, he saw that it would be like in Crimea. A horde of 180,000 people just like you would come in, and we would have to surrender.
But for some reason, I believe in it. That's exactly how it should have been.
Well, you know that this didn't happen. Kyiv wasn't taken in 3 days. The government wasn't changed in 7 days, as you planned. And after 18 months of war, you go to war. Explain to me why.
Because there are heavy battles going on. Because volunteers are needed to the front lines to fight. That's what I went for.
When did you return from Europe to Slavia?
Well, when the war started, I came back.
When was this?
After February 22nd.
And when was your residence expired and whose was it?
No, I just had a work visa.
And when did it end? Or it is ended?
It never ended.
Well,
I'm back.
well, you back. What have you been doing for a year and a half?
Well, I also worked mainly in constructions.
Did you receive any Siemensons?
No, they didn't come.
There are heavy battles going on and you decide I will go and I will die.
Well, it's not that I decided that I was going to die. I was ready to go to war whether I died or not. In principle, I understand that I could be either wounded or dead. Well, I was aware of it.
What did your mother say about your decision?
She didn't say anything. I make all my decisions myself.
Huh. Well, this is like our first time with a guy like this. No, there were, like, volunteers, but they were crazy. So what's next? You came to the military office. What happened next?
That's it, I signed the contract and they sent me to the military unit.
Which one?
To Pskov.
To the Pskov landing force?
Yes.
How long did they train and prepare you?
Months of parts and 10 days here behind
And
the
before
lines.
that, you weren't a conscript.
Why, I served in the
Ah,
army.
you was a conscript.
I served in the army and served under contract. Well, that's it, I kind of understand something about this.
Where did you go?
Towards the Zaporizhia region. I don't know what the name of the settlement is, but it's in the Zaporizhia direction.
Okay, how long did you fight there?
10 days.
And then that's it?
Later, yes.
And how did this 10 days go? Judging by your face, I understand that you are now going to tell me about all the greatness of the Russian army.
You already know about it.
I already know about it from people like you. 750 men were here before.
The point is that it's just meat. Just meat that no one gives a shit about it. That's all. The first ones put us in the very... to the point where I can't even pronounce it in words.
Front?
Not even the front, but in the place where there was nothing. It was just an empty field and they put us there. And we just stupidly, I don't know, sat in the trench like that for a day. Your artillery simply bombarded us with everything it could. Cassettes, mines, barrel, kamikaze.
Why did they put you there?
That was the order.
Were they dead, wounded?
The day after that, the man who was with me went crazy.
What does it mean to go crazy?
What made him crazy that he... well, you can call it different things, you can even believe it or not, but he developed schizophrenia and could communicate with fictional characters. Perhaps he saw, well, as if he communicated with the souls of people. It was completely serious because he asked them for cigarettes, stood up and talked to them. And I wasn't the only one who saw this. And when they asked him, I said, "Who are you talking to?" "There are some guys standing there. I'll go and take a cigarette from them." I said, where are you going?" "No, they'll blow us up away." And every time he got up and went out and asked them for a cigarette. I say, "What kind of guys are even standing there?" He says, "Well, there they are in uniform." I say, "In what form?" "Well, these are such and such, and what nationality they are." I say, "Russian, Ukrainians." He says, "All together."
What happened to him next?
In short, we ended up evacuating him, and the mortar shelling began. And in short, he is badly wounded.
What is his call sign?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
A psycho in short.
Well, it's really, it was impossible to watch.
Did he have any dead or wounded in 10 days?
Enough. Very enough.
Well, how many dead? How many of you were assigned to positions there?
4 people. And every day 3 people died. That they simply added to it every day.
Didn't you evacuate your dead?
We took out as much as possible.
It means they didn't take them out.
Well, that is, we did it in a large extent.
I know that, that's why...
They carried out whoever they could.
Have you stayed in this one position all this time?
No, we were then transferred further and further to the front.
Yeah, and how did the last transfer end?
I was left completely alone.
Where are the rest?
The rest at first they were all wounded, then I realized that they all died.
How many people died around you during these 10 days of war? Well, more or less.
I was the only one left from the platoon. This is 100 accurate information.
Alone from the 30 people?
Yes, that is true. And maybe there is some left from the company.
Well, then it turns out to be 4 or 3.
Well, there were maybe 10 people left from the company, maybe a little more. Well, that's all for the time, but each time they simply brought someone in and supplemented
Well,
them.
constantly, of course.
Yes, and every day there were losses.
Well, that's understandable. How did you get captured?
Well, there was artillery shelling. It didn't stop. Every 10 days there was artillery shelling. And I got out to...
Not every 10 days, but for 10 days there was...
Within 10 days.
always
They
bombed.
always bombed us with everything they could, and I still don't understand. Every day I thought I was going to die, and every day I stayed alive. After that, well, sort of. I heard someone talking, speaking Russian.
Have you sat in a trench?
Yes, I climbed out of the trench to look around, and I was taken prisoner.
Nazis.
I can't say they are Nazis. These were guys who spoke Russian.
Can be.
Yes, I didn't even realize that they were Ukrainian. Then it dawned on me that they were Ukrainians.
Did they have blue tape?
No, there was no scotch tape at all. There was a black sweater and something there. Well, the helmets are exactly the same as everyone else. Well, those NATO ones.
And you have NATO helmets?
Yes, I had the same
Holy
one.
shit, how is it possible?
The uniform is the same. And he spoke Russian. And then I realized that they were Ukrainians.
How did you understand?
Well, they started, well, that's it. He says, get out. I say, are you going to torture me? He says, no, we won't. I say, if you will, just shoot me. And he answered me saying, no, no one will torture you, and that's all.
Did they?
No, they didn't
Well,
torture
they
me.
probably beat you up.
Well, naturally. Well, those guys who took me prisoner, they behaved very decently. I talked to them.
What did they tell you?
Well, they spoke to me in exactly same Russian and said that he said we're also from the airborne forces. Well, you don't call the airborne forces
Which
the same.
unit took you prisoner?
Some kind of aeromobile brigade.
Say hi to them.
Thank you.
He seemed to say it sincerely.
Well, the person I talked to was really a normal, adequate person. That is, he didn't feel any of this towards me, no hatred, no contempt, nothing. He just told me that you were in the wrong place, that's all. In wrong time.
Uh-huh. What interest in this guy haven't you told me yet?
Well, as far as strange fighting goes, there's basically nothing to tell. Every day people die, every day your artillery fires mercilessly. Your artillery doesn't spare shells, it doesn't spare cassettes, kamikaze drones. About 10 kamikazes fall per person per day, I'm not lying. Right up to some burning kamikazes. This is the first time I've seen something like this. Everything started to burn.
Okay, where do you keep all of this?
We don't have all of this.
How come there isn't?
Like this.
The second army in the world.
This is the second army in the world.
According to tradition, if a prisoner of war wants to, he can address his fellow countrymen with some kind of final text. Should we go to war? Should we not go to war? What to take with us? What not to take with us? War is not war. Tea is not tea. Coffee is not coffee.
Everyone should think for themselves and make their own decisions. I don't want to impose or explain anything to anyone, but war is a very difficult war. Think very carefully whether it is worth it or not. That's it.
I will add something on my own because he did not say anything intelligible. Everyone who is going, take backpacks with you. They will come in handy. Better 2 pieces, one in the leg, one in the arm. If you want to be captured, take $300 with you, you will save some budget. Prisoners have become cheaper, now there is a new list. For prisoners, Wova and I pay $100, for these ones we pay $150, For officers, $300 and exotic ones, $50 American. How long did you sign the contract for?
For a year.
Well, that means when you get replaced, you go to war again.
And what is exotic?
Exotic?
Yes.
Right, what is the exotic in here? What do you think?
Well, I don't know, maybe some Nepals,
Yes.
Serbs, Kadyrovs,
Yes.
men or so.
Have you seen Nepal there?
Yes.
Did they fight?
No.
And what did they do?
Training at the training ground.
How do you communicate with them?
English.
Do you know English?
I don't know, I saw them.
Yeah, it's threat there now in short. There's, beside the fact that they have an army, it's just a gang of prisoners mixed up with conscripts that are always drunk, mixed in with contractors, they are just like that. There they went Nepals, here else. Whoever doesn't believe there will be an insertion here, I'll give a special to the critic, I'll throw it out right now. Just trash. Who will win? Let's just get away from this, we need to come to an agreement.
No, I wouldn't say that. The question is, what is your victory?
Our?
Yes.
Split your country into pieces. It will be happen.
But this will not happen anytime soon.
It will happen, I think, next year. For me personally, it will be a victory when Slavzia is divided into 50 People's Republic.
This will not happen.
Well... Okay, how do you think this will all end?
I think that Crimea will remain and the land corridor will also remain. And this war, for example, is of a protracted nature like the Israel-Palestinian conflicts, but for a very long time.
He's talking nonsense because there will be no land corridor and Crimea will return back. Our program is working coordinates of the ammunition and accumulation of this manpower. What he voiced is a crazy old man's dream. But this will not happen.